Greetings. Hi there. Greetings. Hey, this is Dr. Walter Jacobson. I'm a board certified psychiatrist, and I'm doing a show on Forgive to Win. This my book Forgive to Win is about ending self-sabotaging behaviors getting in the way of your happiness, your physical well-being, and your material success. The topic of today's show is anger hurts, forgiveness heals, which is one of the mantras of my forgiveness diet, which is talked about in Forgive to Win. And this is a live show on Blog Talk Radio, so if you feel like calling in, please do with any comments, any questions about forgiveness or relationships or communication, anything like that, anything that's related to the concept of forgiveness, acceptance, compassion, letting go of anger and attack thoughts. I want to hear your comments and your thoughts. Forgiveness is a difficult subject for people, very, very difficult. Probably one of the most difficult things for people to do. Anger consumes people. When people have been hurt and victimized, it's very difficult for them to let go of the pain, to let go of the sense of victimhood, to let go of the rage and the hurt. And they've been punished, they've been beaten down and hurt, and they've been in pain. And psychologically, they want to hurt the other person, the person who did them harm, the person who victimized them. And so withholding forgiveness becomes like seems to make sense. It seems to make sense that we need to punish people, and we don't want to give them the idea, perhaps, that if we've forgiven them, that means they're off the hook or they shouldn't be held accountable. And this just isn't true. Basically, of course, people need to be held accountable for their actions. There are consequences of behaviors. People need to be held accountable. And so Forgive to Win and forgiveness isn't about letting people off the hook. And it doesn't mean you have to like people. It doesn't mean you have to hang out with them. You can forgive them from a distance. Go in peace. But you don't have to have anything to do with them. But the key to forgiveness, the reason why we forgive ultimately is for our own peace of mind. And that's the key when you have trouble forgiving, when you are withholding forgiveness. It's because you think you want to keep them punished. You want to keep them in some kind of emotional prison. But you're really keeping yourself in an emotional prison of pain and shame and victimhood. Okay? So let's backpedal a little bit and let's talk about anger first, and then we'll get back to the forgiveness part. Anger hurts and forgiveness heals is the mantra in the forgiveness diet. And it's basically something that we need to remind ourselves of this every single day. When we feel the anger jumping up, when we start thinking about something someone did to us and the anger kicks in, we got to remind ourselves anger hurts, forgiveness heals. We need to remind ourselves to let it go. Okay, so anger basically is a signal device, all right? It tells us something has happened, right? We've been attacked, we've been assaulted, there's some kind of threat. So the anger is actually, in a sense, a reasonable signal emotion to tell you to do something, right? Like fight or flight. Do something. If you're getting smacked around, you either want to like fight back so you don't get smacked around, it's survival, or you want to run away so you don't get smacked around. You got to do something, okay? So the anger is a motivating, force. It's an instigating force. But after that, it's served its purpose. After it has told you, oh, okay, get out of town or fight back, then later, after the assaulting event has happened, later, if you're still consumed with anger, now it's a complete waste of time. Now it's hurting you. There's nothing more to signal anymore. It's done its job, and now you're just hanging on to this residual emotion, and it's going to hurt you. And it's going to keep on nagging you, and it's going to keep you out of the present, out of the now, stuck in the past, stuck in grievance and resentment and a need for vengeance and a sense of victimhood. So you've got to get rid of the anger. You've got to remind yourself that I don't need it anymore. Now I'm safe. I'm out of danger. Now I know what people to avoid and and what other consequences or recourses I might want to take. But at that point, after the assault has happened, you don't need the anger anymore, and you need to remind yourself to let go of it. So what does anger do? Anger, long after the event has happened, is going to increase your blood pressure. It's going to increase your heart rate. You're going to get heart attacks and strokes if you're just always full of anger and rage, even if it's internal. Even if you're not like screaming at somebody, if you're walking around like hot and angry, and you've got this like internal buried rage, you're still going to be hurting yourself physically. Anger hurts, people who are type A personalities. They're not just workaholics. They got a lot of anger. They got a lot of rage. Anger is a form of stress, and stress depresses the immune system. So ultimately, anger is an emotion in the mind-body sense that's going to suppress your immune system, make it easier for you to get sick, and harder for you to get well, harder for you to fight off illnesses and diseases and things of that nature. Anger imbalances us. When you're angry, you're impulsive. When you're angry, you're aggressive. When you're angry, you do reckless stuff. You don't think really. You're on like knee-jerk, like lizard brain, primitive like reactions. And they may not always be in your best interest. Sometimes, it's better to like take your time and think about an appropriate cause of action. And again, I'm talking about not if there's an immediate assault, of course, you got to get away or defend yourself. But we're talking about other kinds of assaults, usually emotional assaults, where someone has hurt you or done something mean or inconsiderate or unloving, and you're harboring a resentment and an anger about it. And your first impulse might be to text them or email them or call them up and tell them how crappy they are and they're terrible human beings and they've hurt you terribly and they're awful and all that kind of stuff and you just want to assault them and attack them, and that might not be the best way to go. Now, there's several reasons why that's not the best way to go. For one thing, is later after you've thought about it, you might realize, geez, I wish I hadn't said that. Uh, so that's a fact. But basically, here's another fact. That when we attack other people with our judgments, with our anger, with our aggression, with our vengeance, even if we feel justified, on some unconscious level, whenever we attack anybody, we don't like ourselves for it. Whenever we attack anybody, even if we're justified, on some level we are increasing our own deeply embedded guilt, shame, and self-loathing. Okay? And when you increase your guilt, shame, and self-loathing, your subconscious mind basically, believes that, you actually deserve punishment and not reward, and you don't deserve success, and it will get in your way. It will sabotage you and cause you to procrastinate and do stupid stuff and not do the things you need to do, and it's going to create roadblocks and barriers and obstacles to the synergy of the universe. So the law of attraction, maybe you're consciously trying to attract positive people, places, and circumstances, but your subconscious mind is going, no, this guy's full of guilt, shame, self-loathing. This is all on an unconscious level. He deserves punishment, not reward, and so I'm going to subvert his conscious needs for success and happiness. And that's what Forgive to Win, my book, is all about. It's about self-sabotaging behaviors. We all have them. And where do they come from? Yeah, on some level, you may like yourself, but on another level, if you're sabotaging yourself in any way, it means deep down you don't like yourself. Deep down, there's guilt, shame, and self-loathing. And the way to overcome this, the way to beat this, is to do esteemable acts of kindness to others, for others, and to forgive others, and accept others, and love others. And the more you forgive, accept, and love others, the more you are forgiving, accepting, and loving yourself. Okay? So when you let go of judgment and attack thoughts towards others, you are letting go of deeply embedded judgment and attack thoughts about yourself. Okay, so that's the whole key to forgiveness. Ultimately, we're kind to others, we're generous to others, we're forgiving of others, we're accepting of others, we're letting go of our judgments, our resentments, our grievances, and our attack thoughts so that we can heal, so that we can build our self esteem, so we can eliminate our guilt and our shame and our self loathing. And once we eliminate all these things, then on a subconscious level, we are less likely to sabotage ourselves. We are less likely to sabotage our relationships. We are less likely to sabotage those things we want to do in life to make us happier, whether it's lose weight or exercise or become more prosperous and successful in the material world. So that's why we forgive. I mean, certainly it's a great idea to forgive others because it is a spiritual thing to do, and it is a loving thing to do. And if you look in the Bible and all sorts of religious doctrines, pretty much all of them say that forgiveness is the way to go, and and that letting go of attack thoughts is the way to go. So, excuse me. So, yeah, so it is a spiritual thing to forgive and love others. It is a spiritual thing to let go of judgments And it's a religious thing, and it's again, it's talked about in all these religious traditions. But that's, that's not the whole story. That's the beauty of Forgive to Win. I'm trying to help people to see that, guess what? It's not like just a spiritual thing that you should have some kind of afterthought about. It's actually a very practical thing to do. Because again, when you forgive, you let go of your anger, your resentments, your grievances, your self loathing, your guilt, and your shame. And this is going to manifest greater happiness, greater physical well being, and greater success in the material world. You will stop sabotaging yourself in a variety of ways because the subconscious mind starts thinking, whoa, this guy does nice things. This guy is accepting and forgiving and loving and not judgmental. He deserves reward. He deserves success. So I'll stop subtly sabotaging his efforts. I'll start helping him to attract people, places, and circumstances that will synergize with his highest ideals and his highest material goals. So I tell people that, ironically, when you get out of yourself and you forgive others and accept others and you're of service to others, right? You're selfless, but ironically and paradoxically, it's actually the most selfish thing you could do because again, you are actually healing yourself in the process. Okay, so let me look at my notes here. What have I covered? Just about everything. Okay, anger is an attack. It diminishes us. It decreases our self-esteem. Right. So again, people resist forgiving others because we think that it's sending some kind of message that we're a doormat or that we're weak, or that we're asking to be victimized again. And nothing could be further from the truth. Actually, forgiveness is great strength. It takes great power. It's easy to be angry. It takes great power and courage and strength of character to forgive. When talking about the Bible, they talk about, I think they talk about in the Bible, the meek shall inherit the earth. And I maintain that it's not weak. Meek doesn't mean weak. I maintain that meek means gentle, accepting, forgiving, compassionate, and loving. I believe that survival of the fittest evolves over the eons. And in the past, survival of the fittest meant, club somebody over the head and take what they got, and that's how you're going to win. But that's not going to work in the long run. In the long run, in the future, and not too distant future, the only way we're going to get past destroying this planet and destroying each other is survival of the fittest meaning the spiritually fittest, the emotionally fittest. And again, it means forgiving and loving others, accepting others, turning the other cheek. And again, now turning the other cheek doesn't say, in my mind, it doesn't welcome attack. It simply means that you are trying, you're doing the best you can to erase the slate. That reminds me of the whole concept of forgive and forget. People think that they say, well, I'll forgive, but I'm not going to forget. And so sure, on one level that seems to make sense. But that you forgive somebody, but you're not going to forget because you don't want to be victimized by them again. But reality is that's actually a trap because when you say I'm going to forgive, but I'm not going to forget, you actually haven't forgiven because within this concept is the judgment that this person is still dangerous, is still bad news, is still a harsh judgment against this person. Now, people would say then, well, what do you mean? If you don't forget, then you're very likely to be assaulted by the same person again because you've forgotten what a creep they are. And that's not true. It could be true, but the way I look at it is if you are paying attention to your world, if you are paying attention to your environment, then it doesn't matter what mask, what face, what body, somebody out there has, you can assess threat without carrying around judgments in your head about he's no good, she's no good, he's a sinner, she's bad news. All those are all judgment and attack thoughts. You can navigate the world and still evaluate threat and make sure you steer clear of it without carrying all of these resentments, which is when you say, I forgive but don't forget, that's what you're dealing with. You're still dealing with a subtle resentment, a subtle judgment. And again, every time we judge others, we're judging ourselves. It's really just a projection of our own self judgment onto other people. We point the finger at others. You're this, you're that. But really, all that is getting all this crap about ourselves out of ourselves. It's a defense mechanism to make us think that other people are the problem. And even though other people may be a problem, when we project onto others and see everybody else as the problem, we think we're sweeping our own self-loathing, our own guilt and shame, our own harsh judgments of ourselves. We think we're sweeping them under the rug. We're getting rid of them, but we're not getting rid of them. They're under the rug. They're still there. They're still, we're still feeling bad about ourselves. So the key is judgments, even the subtlest of judgments. When you're walking down the street or in your car, and a judgment crosses about somebody being, fat or thin or ugly or this or that, whatever that judgment is, it's an attack thought. And as difficult as it is to eliminate these automatic attack thoughts, yeah, initially you're not going to be able to eliminate them, but what you can do is catch yourself when you do them and remind yourself that's not cool. Let it go. Don't be thinking about people that way. Try to be generous and accepting and putting ourselves in other people's shoes. How would we feel if other people were judging us based on certain physical attributes or prejudices? So we don't like it, so we shouldn't do it to others. And that, of course, is the golden rule. Treat others as you wish to be treated. Forgive others because you would like to be forgiven. Understand others because you would like to be understood. Accept others because you would like to be accepted. Let go of judgment and attack thoughts of others because you would like others to let go of their judgment and attack thoughts of you. That's the whole key to this, is getting out of your ego. That's the whole key of this. Our ego certainly is part of our psyche that helps us to push forward, that helps us to navigate the world, that is part of our motivation and our drive. But at the same time, it's that the ego that separates us, that makes us an us versus them. Now, I'm better than you are. So it's okay if I take what you've got because I'm more important and I deserve to survive. Again, all this separation mentality, all this us versus them mentality is bad news. It's judgment. We are all one. We are all in this together. And it doesn't matter how disturbed and misunderstood people are. It doesn't matter how radical and disturbed their belief systems may be. We still have to find a way to see their humanity. We still have to find a way to embrace the entire planet because it's the only way, that's the only true ticket to heaven, is we all go there together through forgiveness, acceptance, compassion. It's not easy. It takes constant vigilance over your thoughts. And a lot of times, we're subverted by, nice guys finish last, right? That's one of these mantras that people have, and so that's from the ego, though. It's not true. It's not true. Sometimes it may appear that way, but in the long run, in the bigger picture, nice guys, are healing themselves, healing the planet. It's the only way to go. The more you do this, the better you get at being a decent human being. You will see positive outcomes in your life. You will see more people trying to cooperate with you and help you rather than hurt you. Uh, no good deed goes unpunished. Another popular misconception, a lie of the ego that makes us think, why bother doing something nice? Why bother getting out of ourselves? Why bother being selfless? We're only going to get hurt by it later. False. Now, certainly, it may seem that way sometimes, but the bigger picture is, regardless of, yeah, the variables, regardless of the pluses and minuses in your life, always take the high ground. Be of service to others. Get out of yourself. Care. Share. Be generous. Be compassionate. Have empathy. Try to put yourself in the place of other people. The struggles that they may have been through that made them do things that maybe weren't quite so honorable. Okay, we always have to find a way to forgive others. Try to find a way to see the humanity in others. It's a constant vigilance, a constant process. It's a lifelong process. Hey, I've been doing this for decades, and but I'm happier for it. Is my life perfect? No. It's progress, not perfection. But oh, it's unbelievable how much I've moved from a place of anger and resentment and judgment and ego and narcissistic self-centeredness. The more you practice this, the more you cooperate with people, the more you help people, man, it's great. And then they help other people. They pay it forward, and the world gets better. And what happens is you basically what you try to do is create a world, an environment of people, places, and circumstances which are all healthy and loving and non-toxic. And that's a very important part about this. You forgive toxic people, but you don't hang around them, right? So we can't, we're not going to change the universe next Tuesday. We're not going to stop all the crazy crap that happens, right away. But what we can do is create a family and a community, an environment where we don't endorse or support toxicity, where we don't support lies and deceit and deception and prejudice. We got to take the high ground. We always got to take the high ground. Right. Where are my callers? Right. Right. Okay. What else? Okay, so here's my book. I guess I'll let you know about that. It's Anger Hurts, Forgiveness Heals. Comes from Forgive to Win and Self-Sabotage, Get Everything You Want. My forgiveness diet is basically parallels a regular food diet. And the idea is it makes it easy to do because of the analogies. Okay, so protein in the forgiveness diet is esteemable acts of kindness and forgiveness. And then you want to get rid of the fat in a diet. And the fat in the forgiveness diet, in the spiritual diet, the fat are judgments and attack thoughts and biases and prejudices. And so uh, that's part of the forgiveness diet is getting rid of the fat, getting rid of the judgments, the biases, the petty jealousies, the grievances, getting rid of the gossiping and the ridiculing and sarcasm. These are all forms of attack. And so the forgiveness diet, which I maintain if you follow for 90 days, I guarantee your life will improve. I guarantee it. Now, will everything, come up roses? I don't know. It could. It might. It might not. But I guarantee you work this program for 90 days, getting out of yourself, being of service to others, forgiving and accepting others, letting go of judgments, letting go of gossip, and prejudices and attack thoughts, and stop spreading rumors and stop ridiculing people and making jokes at other people's expense. Try to be inclusive of people, inclusive of humanity. Hey, look at it like a jigsaw puzzle. If we really are all pieces in one big jigsaw puzzle. And every puzzle piece looks a little bit different, but just like people look a little bit different. But ultimately, all the puzzle pieces are the same. They're just got different jagged edges, but they all fit together and give a composite whole, a composite of humanity. Okay, so we need every puzzle piece to make the jigsaw puzzle perfect, to complete the picture. And so we need every human being, no matter how jagged they may be. And we need to recognize their value and their worth. And it makes no sense to attack another person. No, it makes no sense to attack another puzzle piece because you need each puzzle piece for the integrity of the whole. Okay, so right. Um, one of the exercises in the forgiveness diet is every night before you go to sleep, you do a forgiveness inventory. Okay, so what that means is before you go to sleep, you just review your day and you ask yourself, so how did I do? How did I do today? Was I kind? Was I loving? Did I get out of myself? Was I generous? Was I thoughtful? Was I unkind and unloving? And you make a mental note to continue doing the things that were good and to make a better effort the next day to not do those unloving, inconsiderate things. And this is how you fine tune yourself. Every day you do an inventory to see how you could be better. And in the morning you review your inventory list to remind yourself as you walk out the door the ways in which you want to be better, more loving, and kinder. And throughout the day, you remind yourself that I'm not going to get into it now, but everything is love or a call for love. When you see someone attacking you or yelling at you, usually a loved one is angry at you and yelling. What is that? Do they really want to hurt you? Not really. What it really is, deep down, is a call for love. They're in pain. Either they're jealous or they feel belittled or they feel abandoned or neglected, and so they yell at you. Yeah, they yell at you to love me, and they're attacking you with this yelling. But really, what it is, this assault, this yelling and attack, it's really a call for love. So if you get defensive and angry and attack back and scream back and engage in battle, then you got nothing. But if you try to rise above the battlefield, if you try to recognize that this is a call for love, and you step out of your ego and you go, I'm going to do the best I can to love, to reassure this person that I care, that I love them. I didn't mean to be insensitive if they perceived it that way. The more we can be understanding, the more we take the high road, the more we can see. If everything is an expression of love, or it's a call for love, then in any situation, the only appropriate thing to do is to be loving and accepting and forgiving and compassionate. I as a psychiatrist, I do a lot of therapy and I do a fair amount of couples therapy, and it is unbelievable how many unhappy people there are who are married and in relationships, and they fight over the most petty and pointless things. It's so many resentments have built up over the years, and so that someone can say the sky is blue, and that just brings up all the resentment from the last 20 years, and they will attack and get into a fight over whether it's blue or green or yellow or what shade of blue, and who took the garbage out, who left the avocado peel on the counter, whose turn it is to take out the I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so unnecessary. Get your own house in order. The key to a universal world peace is first finding peace within your family. First finding peace within yourself, and then using those tools to find peace within your family, and find ways to disengage when the two of you are arguing or fighting, because that's not effective communication. And find ways to see the love in each other despite the bad behaviors, and try to forgive the past, and only judge somebody if you're going to judge or evaluate them. Base it on now, how they're behaving now, not how they behaved 2 years ago or 2 weeks ago. Bringing the past into the present, you're not in the now. Projecting into the future as well with anxiety and catastrophic fear thoughts, you're not in the now. You need to be in the now, free of past judgments and grievances and resentments, free of future fears and anxieties and projection of everything in the past repeating itself in the future. Yeah. Okay, well, you might say that I said a mouthful. What? I still got like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Right. I think I might wrap this up sooner rather than later, but you never know. Why buy this book? If you haven't accomplished what you want in your life, despite having put a great deal of money, time, and energy into a variety of self-help books and programs, it is most likely due to your own self-sabotaging behaviors. None of the self-help books out there will solve this problem. That's what makes Forgive to Win so unique. In the forgiveness diet, a daily regimen of thoughts, actions, and exercises designed to teach us how to control our mind rather than be victimized by it, we eliminate self-sabotaging behaviors by eliminating the unconscious self-loathing that generates it. As we engage in the forgiveness diet on a daily basis, releasing our harsh judgments and replacing them with acceptance, compassion, and forgiveness, our deeply embedded guilt, shame, and self-loathing decreases and our self-esteem increases. This leads to a decrease in our self-sabotaging behaviors and an increase in our self-actualizing behaviors, the end result being a preponderance of positive outcomes in our lives. Why dream about miracles when you can make miracles happen? Miracles are only the expression of love. There are no limits to what you can accomplish with the forgiveness diet. Okay, well, anyway, I think that's the scoop. That's the story, and I'm going to end the episode now here. And I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. Okay. Take care. Peace be with you.